Hello and welcome to PlayStation Grenade. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales takes us back into the web-slinging world, but this time Peter takes a back seat. Now that most of us have finished the story, I think it's a good time to jump back in and look at 30 secrets, Easter eggs and nods to Marvel characters and lore. It's actually closer to 60 Easter eggs, but I took half of these out as they were in the original game back in 2018. I'll link that video should you want to find Daredevil's locations and Jessica Jones's top quality office. Today it's just new stuff in 2020 and Miles' adventure. Let's do this. I think we should start with a Doctor Who reference. Whilst playing the game, you'll be collecting caches and stashes from the Underground faction. When you find this hideout, which formerly belonged to Tombstone and his gang, take a moment to check out the mannequins on the way in. Nothing out of place. Well, completely objective, and Miles will be in for a surprise.
Did those mannequins move?
Before Miles can get his head around events, the Underground attack. But rewinding for a moment, we see the mannequins move when Miles isn't looking. And to you Doctor Who fans, you already know the reference, the Weeping Angels. These stone figures will hunt you down and only eye contact stops them approaching. Legit scared me as a child. Games like Resident Evil have used mannequins moving to instill a little tension, and it sure works. Sticking with the theme of being scared, if you play the 2018 Spider-Man game, you are sure to remember these guys. Complete nightmare fuel. The people inhabiting the boats around the island were not made with pristine graphical fidelity, that's for sure, as they were never intended to be looked at in such detail. But thanks to photo mode, these guys became known worldwide. When the remastered version of the game released, we all expected them to be high res, but no, they are still frightening to look at. But there is one key difference. The model now has a post-it note applied, reading, "Did you miss us?" This shows that Insomniac embraced the meme culture and added the Easter egg. Instead of upraising the models, they have instead added a post-it note. Wow, I like it. By the way, I'm using the remastered edition to get this shot, as it's far easier for Peter to get close enough to these boats rather than Miles, as the boats are very far away in the wintertime. Speaking of Insomniac, remember when we found their offices a few years ago? They are still here for Miles to find, but Insomniac found a way to hide their logo in plain sight this time around. And I promise you've seen it. During the first mission to take down Rhino, Peter and Miles find themselves carried through buildings. One of these is a mall, which is annihilated by Rhino. Keep an eye out and you'll see a chandelier used as a halo over a Christmas tree. This is actually Insomniac's logo, hidden right in front of our eyes. So the scene where Miles leaves his apartment. I decided to go back as Spider-Man to see if anything happened. It didn't, but then something else caught our eye, the apartment numbers on the wall. By going into photo mode and checking these out, we can uncover 4 more Easter eggs. One apartment is for Waldo, so if anyone asks where's Waldo, he's here. Over in the UK we would call him Wally, and spend hours trying to find him. Another apartment is for Andy and Buzz, which, judging by the handwriting, is a Toy Story reference with Andy writing his name on his favourite toys, and one of those is Buzz Lightyear. Another apartment has a Cthulhu reference and a sketch too. This is for you H.P. Lovecraft fans. And the best one is just below, a blood-soaked nameplate for Fred and Jason. This has to be for the horror icons Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th series. And look, F13 is there too. So 4 easy to miss Easter eggs which were in a cutscene. Impressive how they hide these things. As we all know, Stan Lee cameos in Marvel movies and video games have been with us for years. In 2018, Stan played Mick, a restaurant owner which Peter and Mary Jane frequented. Sadly, Stan Lee passed away before this game was released. If you make your way to the Upper Side District and use your spider sense, a statue will be revealed. Get close enough and you'll see that it's an in-game memorial to Mick, the restaurant owner. His statue has a touching quote to read. "Dedicated with love to the man who nourished the hearts, minds and souls of true believers everywhere. Excelsior." And as we know, Stan's trademark saying was Excelsior. Right in the feels. You'll never be forgotten, Mr. Lee. Those of you who are trophy hunters probably noticed the achievement pop-up. Let's keep going with memorials and trophies. Go north to the cemetery for another one. Get close enough and you'll spot Miles' dad's gravesite, Jefferson Davis. Interact there for a moment. It will make you think about your own relationship with your father.
Wish you were here, Dad.
Here you can also pay respects to Uncle Ben and Aunt May, who sit side by side after the events of the original game. And we can all learn something from Aunt May's grave. When you help someone, you help everyone. How about one more crippling, sad thing? Once the game is complete, stick around until the very end of the credits, and you'll find a beautiful memorial to Black Panther actor Chadwick Boseman. In loving memory of a noble king, Chadwick Boseman, his honour, strength and compassion will reverberate for generations to come. Wakanda forever. Okay, I can't take any more sadness. Let's move on to something absolutely epic instead. So the Into the Spider-Verse suit was intended to be an Easter egg, but it was so impressive it was revealed 2 weeks before the game released. The added animation style which sees Miles' moves on the second frames was intended to be a secret for movie lovers to find. That didn't pan out, but there is also a few other things hidden away to find about Miles and that Spider-Verse movie. I'm sure you've seen the acrobatics Miles can pull off on the streets. Cool shizzle. But not many people know that it is possible to strike poses directly from Into the Spider-Verse and other Spider-Man acrobatics from film and comic book. Miles is able to pull off the iconic pose from the end of the Spider-Verse movie. Just remember to swing at the end of the stunt, or be prepared for another Easter egg, the exact fail animation from the movie. Miles can also take out his phone mid-air or simply strike a laying pose. And there's also my personal favourite, the Thinker, which is a very real statue found in France, posturing over the gates of hell. And now it's a Spider-Man pose. How times have changed. Here's a quick tutorial to pull these off. Skip to this time code if you're just here for more Easter eggs. The secret is actually learning to do the inverted dive, holding down L3 as you reach the top of a building, and at the very last step, tapping R2 and X together once. Miles will make this epic jump. To strike the laid back pose from the movies, hold square and hold the left thumbstick upwards. Ta-da! For the other poses, simply hold square to strike the Thinker dive, hold square and down on the left thumbstick for Miles to get his phone out, and hold square and push left or right to hit the draw me like your French girls pose. I struggled to master these and ended up finding a great tutorial online. The chap is called Oni Zombies. I'll be sure to link the tutorial below if you want to hit these poses. A few throwaway Easter eggs now. Should Miles jump off a building at a crazy height and still be in control of his body at the foot of the fall, he will not epically fail. He'll strike a superhero pose. Deadpool will be proud. The ground cracks and shakes to understate how cool that is. Another returning Easter egg from the first game are the interactions Miles has on the street. When not fighting, the square button can be pressed to do this. The finger point made famous by Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. It's cringy, but Miles makes it look cool again, complete with bioelectricity. And don't be worried, Miles won't be dancing like a white dad on holiday, because he's got his own moves. Tap square again near pedestrians, and Miles will salsa. I like that. It's a good touch. Oh, whilst I was getting this footage, I took a look at the newspaper stand in photo mode next to him, and it's been updated to reference Miles as Spider-Man. It's not an Easter egg, but the attention to detail is insane. Another film reference back in 2018 was a nod to Tobey Maguire trying to stop a train. It failed in the game, but it was a good reference. This time around, there is a bridge scene set around Tom Holland's Spider-Man, attempting to hold it all together like he did in the movie with a ferry. I'm sure you know that one already, but I thought I'd mention it to make sure we get everything. Okay, more Marvel Easter eggs. Let's go. During the game, you can find time capsules Miles and a friend hid years ago. Each references something from the comic books. Here's a few of my favourites. The old library book is written by Ezekiel Pendragon, but look on the back and you'll find a quote from Ben Urich. Urich. I've never heard that name out loud. From Ben Urich. In the Marvel world, he's an investigative journalist working for the Daily Bugle. Peter Parker sometimes works with him, but he usually appears in Daredevil stories. His character was in the 2003 movie and the 2015 TV show. Both versions didn't do too well. RIP. Another collectible looks like a PC graphics card, but this one is all about the name on the front. Handwritten, Mastermind X4. This is a callback to Jason Wingard, who was better known as Mastermind. The extra detail is really cool here. X4 relates to the first comic book he appeared in, X-Men #4. Next, take a closer look at the ticket stubs. A concert for Dazzler and Layla Cheney. Both are Marvel characters. Dazzler first appeared in the Uncanny X-Men and has the ability to convert sound into energy and light. Dazzler later appeared in the movie Dark Phoenix. Layla Cheney, on the other hand, has a teleportation ability, but she's also another musician, making this Easter egg perfectly suited. Next, a direct reference that takes little effort. The Wheel Miniature Collectible. This is a nod to Jackson Wheel, also known as Fig Wheel, good name, who literally used a bright yellow Ferris wheel looking vehicle thing, and it's pure madness. But to be honest, I'd probably watch a film about that. And now the greatest accidental Easter egg in Spider-Man Miles Morales. It's possible to play as Spooderman. The meme of Spider-Man with the reduced jaw and the leaning neck is here, but it isn't deliberate. It seems to be a glitch rather than an Easter egg, but it's too good not to share. To do this, you need to trick the game into giving Miles Peter's advanced suit. To do this, we simply use the D-pad to choose a suit, then select it with X and circle at the same time. Now count to 3, and then click X again. The suit will now be reset, and Miles will wear Peter's iconic suit. In some cutscenes, this is truly epic. It feels like Peter is passing on the mantle to Miles. But in other scenes, this can happen. Mr. Spark, I don't feel too good. Like I say, it's a glitch. That's why the model and the animations don't always line up, leaving us with Spooderman. A meme from 80 years ago finally has accidentally been recognised. This is totally going to be patched out, so give it a go when you can. Unleash your inner Spooderman. To end, well, first a quick reminder, if you want to know what this dog is taken from, or where to find Doctor Strange's Sanctum Sanctorum, I'll link that Easter egg video at the end of this video. But to end now, we are going to look at the post-credit scene. Just like in the previous game, we can take a solid guess at the next Spider-Man outing. Here's what goes down. So it looks like, in this version of Earth, in which Harry Osborn is placed in stasis by his father Norman, he has finally awoken, and judging by the black web-like sludge, we should see a form of venom in Peter and Miles' next adventure. Damn, that looks good. But did you also notice the scientists working on the project?
Mr. Osborn, I understand he's your son, but he's Kurt.
He's referred to as Kurt, which looks to be Kurt Connors, who eventually becomes the Lizard, another one of Spidey's enemies. Like a crocodile thing wearing a lab coat, layman terms. So there we have it, another 30 Easter eggs and secrets in Spider-Man Miles Morales. Let me know what I missed, because I know there's tons more to find. I'm Adam from PlayStation Grenade. Thank you very much for your time. I'm going back to play as Spider-Man. Where the hell is my head?